Good morning. Mike's putting on his microphone.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're the
Bobbsey twins.
Yeah. We're coming to you from our studios on South Brunny Street in Troy, Alabama. This is today in L.A. and I hope that you've had a good evening and you're ready to start a good day with us. And we're going to be talking this, that, and some other stuff.
This, that, and the other.
So get ready for a lot of chat on today's show. And, of course, big thing happened to the folks in Enterprise last night. Enterprise, 23-6, defeated Smith Station 82-47, and the Enterprise Wildcats are going to Birmingham.
That's the girls.
Yeah, that's the girls. Now, now the boys is they play the. Let's see. Man, you got me turned around here a little bit.
Well, it's confusing when you get all these.
Yeah, all these girls.
You got them 1A through 7A, and then you got them boys and girls. So you got to make sure you're looking at.
I will tell you this.
I can tell you this: that the girls at Charles Henderson are getting ready to tip off in about an hour and a half. And then 2 hours after that, the boys of Charles Henderson are going to tip off. If they both win, both basketball teams at Charles Henderson can make it to the Final Four, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's never happened before, where both programs at the same time made the Final Four.
And I'll tell you this, it's going to be some exciting times for a lot of people, and I know Carroll High of Ozark going up against Charles Henderson, two big rivals, and the reward for victory today is a trip to Birmingham for the Final Four in high school basketball in Class 5A.
Yeah, so good luck to Charles Henderson, good luck to Ozark.
But I'm a little bit confused here. Enterprise, they did in the boys. Here we go. They are going to the state playoffs. They defeated Smith Station 82-47, and Enterprise is the 7A qualifier, and they are going to the Final Four in Birmingham. And I know that's exciting times, and their coach is perhaps one of the youngest head coaches in high school basketball in the state of Alabama.
They won by almost 40 points.
Yes, sir. And they've got a great team. And, and Smith Station had a 24-9 record going into the game, but Enterprise under...
yeah, that was the boys. I'm sorry.
That's right.
They right above them was the girls' squad.
That's right. Yeah. And then, of course, in that region, Auburn High School they beat Central Phoenix City in the 7A bracket. So Auburn High School is also going to the state in 7A girls. And we'll take a look right now at the big games today, and we'll be bringing that information to you. As we mentioned, Charles Henderson girls also playing for the right to go to the Final Four in high school basketball. The Henderson is 16-11. Talladega, a very good Talladega team now, 21-12, and they play this morning at 9 o'clock in Birmingham. In Montgomery. Been played at Garrett Coliseum.
Oh, they start at 9 o'clock.
And they play at Garrett Coliseum, and
we're going right after the show.
We sure are. We're going to be heading out of here, heading that way, and we're looking forward to it to see at least part of the Charles Henderson girls and all of the boys, as the Charles Henderson boys have a big chore also against, as we mentioned earlier, Carroll High of Ozark.
Well, that's two longtime rivals from 35 miles away from each other. Carroll and Charles Henderson playing for big stakes. Anytime you go to the Final Four in Birmingham, that's an event you're going to remember your whole life.
Oh yeah, no question about it.
And I've been following Charles Henderson basketball for 40 years, and really there's not been a whole lot of times that Charles Henderson has made it to state.
All right, in our area,
about 4 or 5
some of the
times.
games today in our area, and G.W. Long will be playing today at noon. Their girls played this morning, and G.W. Long's girls will play Lynette, and the boys will also play Lynette in the finals of their classification today, and that's going to be quite a game. Lynette 16-7, and the girls 24, and they're again going up against G.W. Long 24-4. But in the boys bracket, you got Lynette 17-3 and G.W. Long 14-12. That game is at 1:30 today, so a lot of folks will be coming through this way from Long High School of Skipperville to see that game at Garrett Coliseum.
Yep, that sure will.
And
we're going to get off at the Ann Street exit and go by Robert E. Lee High School.
We won't have any problem. We're going on Federal Drive. You remember that name over the years, Federal Drive?
That's right.
That's where we'll be going. Of course, again, that's going to be a battle between the Lynette girls and the G.W. Long boys and the wait a minute, Lynette girls against the Lynette girls against the G.W. Long girls. That's at Wednesday at noon. Then Lynette boys against G.W. Long boys play at 1:30. So we got that
it's
one.
the exact same two teams, girls and boys.
Yeah. Now another one in our neck of the woods, Lochapoka, 21-8. This is girls basketball, 21-8 versus Georgiana, 15-8. They play today at 3:00, and they're boys, and the winner goes on to play in the state Final Four. And then the Southeast 1A boys finals, Lochapoka, 19-7 against Brantley, 20-6. And that game's going to be played at 4:30 today, so you'll have plenty of time to get to that game for that.
Brantley's playing at 4:30.
Yeah, so we've got Lynette, we've got Brantley, we got G.W. Long, we've got all those schools still in the Final Four.
We don't care about Lynette. Why do we care about Lynette?
Well, it's in
our viewing area.
Well, no. Let me just say this: the reason we care for Lynette, they're playing G.W. Long.
We care about G.W. Long,
which is 25 miles down the road.
I care about G.W. Long. Okay.
That's the reason we mentioned Lynette.
I don't care about Lynette. We're pulling for G.W.
And I don't particularly.
Too late watching Alabama Vanderbilt last night. Alabama held on and won by 2. They were up by 11 with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left, and Vanderbilt came back and tied the game. Scottie Pippen Jr., Scottie Pippen's son, the great Bulls player, is a pretty good player for Vanderbilt.
I'm gonna tell you this: you watch, he'll be ended up in the what do they call it?
The NBA draft.
No, do you think he's not eligible for the draft? He can't. He's got.
Yeah. He's a sophomore.
Oh, he is. Yeah, sophomore. I didn't know.
You can go after your freshman year in basketball.
Yeah, probably. Don't you think he'll probably leave early?
Yeah.
Well, Michael Amos calling in from Great Beach, Florida this morning, and Bryce and I are leaving after the show to go to see Charles Henderson of Troy play Carroll High of Ozark in the finals of the 5A regionals from this area. And you were talking about you don't care who wins those games, and you're right. I don't care who anything at all about Lochapoka, but I do care about Brantley, and that's who Lochapoka plays today at 4:30. So I've got a feeling Lochapoka is going to be in trouble because they got Shine, and they got Brown, and they got Tucker Gilcrease. Those are pretty good players, aren't they?
Tucker plays basketball too.
Oh yeah, he plays basketball too. Yeah.
Charles Henderson goes to the Final Four, men's and the girls, or boys and the girls. I mean, that'd be the first time ever.
I think so. I would think so. I can't ever remember Charles Henderson boys and the girls both going. And remember that game's at 9:00 this morning at Garrett Coliseum against a very good Talladega program. They're 21-12. I think Charles Henson's got their hands full, and also the boys 23-5 against Carroll 24-7. Boy, that's going to be a good one at 10:30 this morning. So, all you folks from Ozark, you better get up and get on down there because it's going to be a great game. And to me, it's a big thing to make it to the Final Four.
Yes. Yeah, that's always been the goal in basketball is to make it to state, the Final Four, same as in basketball.
Especially as a first-year head coach and Tim Faison, that would be an incredible run.
Sure would, yes. He inherited a talented team, and he'd been the assistant coach, so he knew them well. Yeah. But he has done a great job with the talent he had. And, I mean, they have played the toughest schedule in Charles Simpson history just so that they would be prepared for tournament time. I guess and it never hurts to play good talent, especially if you got a good team.
I've got sad news. If you're from Eufaula has fallen in 6A basketball regional play. Park Crossing, 27-4, defeated Eufaula 59-48, and Park Crossing out of Montgomery advances to the 6A championships. That's the boys. God. And also in the girls' game, Park Crossing won 46-39 over Carver Montgomery. So both Park Crossing teams are going to the Final Four.
Yeah, Park Crossing.
So Park Crossing just right out here at Montgomery.
We're going to go past it in about an hour.
That's right. We sure are. And tough luck for the Eufaula boys. They were 31-4. Had probably one of the best teams they've had in a long time. But, it's a new ball game once you make these playoffs.
Eufaula is one of the teams that beat Charles Simpson.
Oh yeah, very good basketball program, and but they're out of it now, and Park Crossing moves on. So now in Class 2A, we've already mentioned this, is that Highland Home 28-5. This is in boys basketball, 28-5. They defeated Greene County 50-40. And Highland Home, 28-5, is heading to the state Final Four, and that is big business for Highland Home. Wouldn't you say?
I would say.
Yeah. I want to say maybe it's the first time ever.
I don't know if you mentioned, but Enterprise in our interviewing area is also going.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Opened the show with that. Yep.
And Mike, what is the young coach there that played quarterback for their football team a few years back?
Yeah, he played at Western Carolina.
Yeah.
Harrelson.
Yeah, Harrelson. Dr. Harrelson's boy is the head basketball coach at Enterprise. Had done a outstanding job. He's a very young coach, and he's taken the Enterprise Wildcats basketball program.
He's the guy Troy really missed on. Troy misses on some really good local players sometimes in basketball.
Yeah, he was a great player at Western Kentucky. In college basketball.
He played at Western Carolina.
Western Carolina, excuse me. And but Harrelson has really done well.
Enterprise's sports program seems to be doing really well. I think last year they had a good run in basketball too. So back-to-back great seasons.
And we lost our cheerleader sponsor. Is that right?
Yep, she's going to Enterprise.
Yeah, her husband was an assistant coach at Troy University, and he has gone to Enterprise to be with to join my friend from Mobile, Mike.
Yeah, Ben Blackman.
Yeah,
I would say there have been several people from Troy that were working in Troy that have gone to Enterprise. So Enterprise is getting some of our peeps.
Yeah, that's right.
But Enterprise must have a lot to offer. I mean, I don't begrudge them.
Well, it's one of the most beautiful high schools in the state of Alabama or anywhere. It's Enterprise High School, and of course, after the terrible tornado that killed, I want eight people, I think, 8 students. It was a sad moment, and. But since then, they have built a beautiful high school.
It's one of the fastest growing towns in the Wiregrass as well. Yeah. Well, we got Andy Fox advertisers with us from Enterprise.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, Enterprise.
Andy actually lives in Dothan.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, he had his business in Enterprise. That's going. You don't get into that. Okay, most of his taxes are paid in Enterprise. And of course,
like the great Will Matthews lived in Dothan all those years, but
that's
he
right.
moved to Ozark, but now he actually lives in Ozark.
Yeah.
Well, the great Mike Amos lived in Troy and worked in Montgomery for 20 years.
Yep, that's right. Sure
Yeah,
did.
it's weird. He always made it in my practice though at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Had one of those good state jobs.
Yeah, well, I sneaked out the back door a lot of times. How about that? hey, I wasn't going to be denied,
My dad always told me the best thing you could do with a job is have a job with an office that you could lock a door.
and doesn't have any windows. How about that?
I had that at the University of Alabama. I took advantage of that most mornings.
So a lot of times they didn't know whether you were there or not, did they? Oh, boy.
I took a nap probably every morning I had to be there about 6 a.m. though.
Oh.
Mike,
that's when you worked at the Capstone Inn? Capstone Center?
Bryan Conference Center, yeah. We had about 20 different conference rooms. We had always a lot going on. There was always so much going on. The board of trustees meetings were there all the time. I used to see everybody. And then Saban would be there with the football team on the weekends.
How was the restaurant there? Pretty good?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Actually, we would cater, any restaurant throughout.
Y'all did your own cooking, didn't you?
We'd come in to do events, and then we had our own full kitchen and chef that would do meals as well. So yeah, we had all kinds of stuff. I don't know how I didn't gain about 100 pounds, but I walked so much around it, I guess.
I have stayed there the hotel part of it one time, but it's been a success from day one, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, we have friends that have I guess some kind of contacts from Mountain Brook, and they stay there every Alabama football weekend, every home game. They've been staying there for years, every game, and you couldn't ask for a better place to stay on campus.
I bet you got to get those reservations years in advance. So.
Yeah, you do. But
where does the Alabama football team sleep the night before a game?
They sleep at the Capstone.
They probably take up about how much of the dang hotel? Probably a third of it.
Yeah, the majority of it. They actually they do their pregame the night before in Sellers Auditorium on Friday night. I know this because I had about 15, 20 people working for me, and they would have to do all the setup and breakdown and then all the cooking and stuff. And so Saban would have his team in there then, and then they would have breakfast that morning. And you wouldn't believe what they were eating on Friday night. I mean, it was shrimp, filet, spaghetti, cakes. I mean, it was just the craziest food ever. And then on Saturday morning, they had omelet stations, pancake station, waffle stations. It was just crazy.
Now these are the poor, exploited college athletes you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Every once in a while, I might make it up there on a Friday night just to check in. And man, I had filet, I had shrimp, I had whatever I wanted.
I want to congratulate the Houston Academy team. They defeated Dadeville, and Houston Academy advances to the Final Four in Birmingham. Congratulations to Houston Academy boys. So, and also in Class 3A girls, Prattville.
Houston Academy is
defeated
4A.
Trinity, and they're on their way.
I can remember when they were 1A when they had Jim Farmer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gotten bigger and bigger, and of course. So far, we've got Enterprise in our area. Boys are in there, and now Houston Academy boys are in the Final Four.
You know who's going to have the chance to be in there next year?
A Pike Liberal.
Pike Liberal Arts. Pike Liberal Arts will have and I bet I wouldn't be surprised if they make it with the players they got.
Well, they will have Ross coming back.
Cross coming back.
Cross, I mean, and he makes a big difference.
Yeah, he's going to be a pretty big prospect, I bet.
Apparently Cross has got a brother, too. How old is he?
He's in the 8th grade.
Yeah, Jeff Coates young. They're going to have a good team.
They'll be good. Yeah. No
I keep saying my nephew who plays baseball only, but he's going to be 6'4", 6'5". He's probably about 6'1" right now as a sophomore. He's a good basketball player. For the life of me, I don't know why he didn't go out for the basketball team.
But, so we can circle Park Crossing over Eufaula in a huge game last night. And that was a final.
Mike Amos played basketball. I played through.
I didn't play much basketball.
I played through junior high on the school team, and then I wasn't good enough by the time we got to high school. But I would say it's my favorite sport, Mike, to play. I mean, probably because I don't know if you did. Dad always had a basketball goal for the children in our driveway. And Rush and Bobby used it, but man, I would say every day it was therapy here. I was out there shooting basketballs and layups, and so I played a lot of pickup basketball games and 3-on-3, and then shot a lot with myself.
I did the same thing, and and of course you can also, you like my favorite basketball player was Bob Pettit. He played for the St. Louis Hawks, and he was a great player. And when I would be shooting in the backyard, it'd be me and Bob Pettit shooting.
Yeah.
And want to mention also that south side of Selma will be heading to, the girls will be heading to the Final Four. They defeated T.R. Miller, and so they're in it. And then the 3A boys finals played last night. Southside Selma beat Cottage Hill of Mobile, and now Southside of Selma. Both teams were Southside of Selma, and two very good programs
are going. So there's several teams. We know Park Crossing's got both teams going to the Final Four, and then Southside of Selma too.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in fact, I can remember watching Troy over the years. I can remember when Troy had three starters on Troy University had three starters on their team, and all three of them were Southside of Selma.
Wow.
That's been a good program for a long time.
Troy University, if has a little luck, they could have both basketball teams in the NCAA Big Dance this year.
That's right. Exactly right.
Wouldn't that be something?
On Duke Miles, Coach Cross said that he's out with a concussion. He said, obviously this guy would help us out if we had him when we're 100% full strength, but we don't. Cross said, I'm not sure when he'll be back. So
isn't that amazing?
How can you be out this long from a concussion?
I know it. That's exactly right.
That's you don't hear about that much.
That is not a good sign. It says that Troy is third in the Sun Belt, and it is on percentages because of Appalachian State has played more conference games than Troy, even though Troy's beat Appalachian State twice. Troy is currently the third seed, so Troy will have to have Appalachian State and Texas State to lose at South Alabama for Troy to have a chance to be the number one seed in the Sun Belt tournament.
And that's why those games are so big.
Well, now I wonder how they determine the regular season champ, which I would think would get you a ring and a banner.
Yeah, that'll be really weird if Troy beat App State twice, and if they beat Texas State again, that will be 2 wins over Texas State. So that means they will beat both those teams twice, and there's still a chance that Texas State could be the league champion.
Surely they would consider it co-champions, and like they used to do a lot in football.
You got to pull hard for South Alabama tonight. That's the only chance really Troy has to play for it all on Friday.
Yeah. And I like Florida. I like South Alabama chances. I really do.
Yeah, South Alabama's really good.
But they've been losing some games. I know too, though.
They got 8 transfers from Division I programs that have come in, but. I tell you what, Texas Arlington's got a guy tonight, David Easelor, 6'4" guard, averages 20 a game. So they've got some talented players. Yeah. Apparently, Coach Cross recruited him.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about all the promotions again, Michael, if you remember them.
I don't remember, but they're good. A lot of them are good, especially for Saturday.
Well, I think it's $1 general admission.
Today's Dollar Day. Yeah.
All right, tell me if I'm wrong. $1 general admission tickets, $1 Coke, $1 hot dogs, $1 popcorn. I mean, where are you going to feed your kids cheaper than that? And they're playing Coach Cross's old team, trying to win the league championship. Tip-off time is what?
6 o'clock, I believe.
Check it, though. Check us. 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Huge basketball
6
game.
p.m.
And then Friday night, 2 nights later, Troy versus Texas State or Texas Southern for all the marbles, maybe, on a game that's going to be televised on the ESPN2, national TV.
That's tomorrow night, is that right?
I can probably sit back and watch Dad. I see the back of his head the whole time when I watch Troy games.
Well, maybe Michael get me in and I can sit next to him and I can wave at the camera.
Let me just say this. If you want it, I've got 2 tickets to the game tonight on the first row. Best seat in the whole gym. You want it?
Yes.
You got it.
Well, why aren't you going?
I am going.
Okay, I'll go with you.
You're going to have to leave your kids at home.
Well, let me buy them one of those $1 tickets and just let them run around.
Right. That's right. That's up to you.
They're not going to bother anybody.
No, you're right.
$1 general admission tickets, $1 hot dogs, $1 soft drinks, $1 popcorns. SGA will host a pet rally throughout the night that will feature our spring sports teams, including track and field, women's tennis.
Is that tonight?
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock, you said?
6 o'clock, that's right.
Well, we've got, I could actually make it, but we've got supper at First United Methodist Church at 5 o'clock. You know, that's I do that every week.
But you know what? I've got you in the hospitality room too. I've got you.
I think we might have to take a pass.
I've got you a very good meal in that place.
You think we can get Maggie and Jackie in? I think we can.
No question about it. No question about it. We can get him in.
We got big news on Troy football. They have announced their spring day.
All right.
So it looks like Troy will start spring practice on Tuesday, March 22nd. And, wow, this is a late 8A game. The 8A game will be on April 23rd.
Boy.
Well, they needed time to get, mesh as a coach and staff and get players. So I think they pushed it back, but I understand why they would do it.
And that's what will be T-Day. Is that right?
Yeah, we're excited to build the foundation pieces for football perspective. Summerall said we are focused on fundamentals that will provide cornerstones to our players' development as we move forward in the schemes that we're going to implement in all 3 phases of the game. I'm really excited about watching our guys compete and learning how to play the game with detail, strain, and finish.
Yeah.
I bet they're not going through a spring training like they went through when Coach Bryant came to Alabama in 1958. You've heard a lot about the Junction Boys.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Coach Bryant because I'm reading another Coach Bryant book at the moment. Well, the Junction Boys, they loaded up on 2 buses, and Texas A&M players had 70 players, and they only went to Junction, this little military barracks place, for 10 days. You know how many they had when they came back? 27. So they lost, 70 minus 27, they lost 30. They lost 43 players in 10 days. But I think from reading this book, when Coach Bryant came to Alabama, before my dad and them started practicing, they were still in high school, but that first spring training at Alabama, it wasn't in some out-of-the-way military barracks. It was on campus, but I think the rate of attrition was about the same.
Yeah.
That Troy is 191 days, 15 hours, 41 minutes, and 31 seconds from playing Ole Miss.
Ole Miss at Vaught Henman Ray Stadium in the great city of...
We just beat them in softball. Could have beat them twice. So we almost beat them twice.
Early line is Ole Miss 22.5.
Are you serious? You already got an early line on that game?
I'm kidding.
Michael's like me. He's pretty good at picking. I bet that line will be about 23.
It'll be 3 touchdowns, like that.
Oh man, that's nothing.
So wouldn't that be a great way for Coach Summerall to start his career, knocking off Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, and we're going to be there in the Grove, aren't we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've already had.
We can drive over from the Golden Strike Casino in Tenneco. Apparently, there's shuttle buses.
Will Matthews, we're going at the.
He's gonna take us, yeah.
We're going at the hospitality of one Will Matthews to the Ole Miss game. He's already told us we got tickets and a beautiful place to stay.
And I'm going to take a tape recorder and all this book that Will needs to write about his life. I'm going to just start recording things, and I'm going to write it for him.
Yeah.
You can get up with the great author over there from it has Troy ties. Ace Atkins lives in Oxford, Mississippi.
That's right.
Billy Atkins' son.
You're right. No question about it.
Really? I'd like to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The former Auburn defensive end. My mother-in-law reads all his crime novels.
No,
So that is Billy Atkins' son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ace. His name's Ace Atkins.
So he lived in Troy at one time? Or was he born then?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know when he was born. You know?
What?
Did Ace Atkins was
Billy
he a
Atkins-
child?
I want to say he was born here in Troy. I think he was.
Well, was he born before Atkins was here from about 1965 to about 1969? So was he born in? I was born in 1965.
Yeah.
I know when his dad was inducted in the born in Troy, Alabama. He's 51 years old.
All right, born in Troy, Alabama, Ace Atkins. Yeah. We take pride in that. You're right. Great author. And the other great author's name was Gresham. Is that right?
John Gresham.
Would you like to have the money John Gresham has given to Ole Miss?
Yes. I've read lots of his books. I like him. He just.
Oh, go ahead.
Grisham writes these crime thrillers and lawyer books, like The Firm was the first one that made him famous. But one of his recent ones is about a basketball player. Grisham played high school basketball and loves the sport of basketball. It was good.
Yeah. And of course, the first movie was not. It was The Firm, wasn't it?
Yes, but that was not his first novel.
Okay.
His first novel didn't sell well, and he sold it out of the back of the trunk of his car. Well, after The Firm was a bestseller for about 2 years and then made into a movie, then they went back and republished his first little red book, which was called A Time to Kill, and that became a big hit and was made into a movie, I think.
Was all of this fiction? It was not. It was all fiction, wasn't it?
He's written a couple of nonfictions. I'll tell you what he's done. I haven't read it, but I think he found one guy that he thinks is in prison falsely, which there's more of these people than you would think, Mike. With DNA evidence now, that you think everybody's guilty. Well, not everybody. And I think he played a role in getting this person that's been falsely in prison for a long time out of prison with a nonfiction book.
It says Ace Atkins, 51. He's an American journalist and author. Atkins worked as a crime reporter in the newsroom at the Tampa Tribune before he published his first novel, Crossroad Blues, in 1998. He became a full-time novelist at the age of 30. He's written several books. Atkins is the son of Billy Atkins. Atkins lived on a historic farm outside of Oxford, Mississippi with his family. He graduated from Auburn University in 1994, lettered on the Auburn football team in 1992, 1993. He's featured on the Sports Illustrated cover commemorating the Tigers' perfect 11-0 season in 1993. I remember that. He's on the cover for sacking Danny Werfel.
Yeah.
He wore number 99 at Auburn.
Yeah.
Man, what a good story. I mean, he's no dumb jock, is he?
His novels are Nick's Travelers. There's 4 books off of that. Quinn Colson. There's 11 books off of that, and then the Robert B. Parker Spencer. There's another 10 books of those. So he's written about 30 books. It looks like.
Golly. But not many of them have made movies, though. Is that right?
I don't know if any have been turned into movies or not.
Yeah.
Well, if he keeps doing the same series and character, he's obviously got an audience that likes those books. Once you get established as an author, these guys these authors, they crank out one a year, and then the same people buy them over and over and over.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting times right now. As Rice has been telling you, we're going to make it. We're leaving out of here this morning to drive to Garrett Coliseum in Montgomery for the big game between Charles Henderson of Troy and the Ozark Eagles of Ozark Carroll High School, and it should be a great one. And I hope my coach buddy makes it. I'm gonna look for him when I get up there.
Well, I hope Troy has more people than Ozark, but it'll be interesting to see, won't it?
Yeah, that's
Troy
right,
has a shorter trip, that's for sure.
Now I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you right now. Hey, Ozark better bring a lot of folks, because I know Charles Henderson will.
Yeah.
Charles Henderson will bring a big group of fans, because they followed this team all year long, and to have both the girls playing for a chance to go to the Final Four, and the boys also.
The principal is,
I
saw the principal, Mrs. Faison. She's married to the basketball coach, Tim Faison.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And I went to the school board meeting last night because my wife, Carrie Fryer Rice, was recognized by the school board as the Charles Henderson Teacher of the Year. She got a little plaque.
Congratulations.
And I think they got a little stipend that they could use for their classroom. And then there were teachers honored for Troy Elementary School and Charles Henderson Middle School. And then the police officers that provide security and help were honored. And then all the guidance counselors at all the schools were recognized. So it was a fun event. Bo Coppage is on the board. He's my age and a longtime friend, banker at Troy Bank and Trust. Roxy Kitchens is on the board, Sam's wife and one of the great citizens of Troy. So I enjoyed going to the school board meeting.
I bet you did. I bet your wife made sure you went to that meeting.
Well, she said I didn't have to go, but I'm glad I went. And then I took the kids and just a little show of support. I mean, to be the Teacher of the Year is voted on by the other teachers, so that's quite an honor.
Tell us a little bit about where your wife has taught over the years.
Her first teaching job was at Robert E. Lee High School in Montgomery, I think. Yeah. And then she taught.
Did she teach there? Was Judy?
She wasn't there long.
Was she there?
Might have been Judy.
Yeah, she taught there for a long time.
And then she went to some other.
Judy Mayer Head.
Al's wife.
Yeah, Al's wife.
Then she briefly taught at another Montgomery Public School. She was happy to get out of Montgomery Public Schools, I'll tell you that. Then she taught for a long time at Stanhope Elmore High School. Still has a lot of friends there. Yeah. And then when we got married and we moved to Pike Road, I was living in Montgomery, and I said, let's move to Pike Road. That's where everybody's going. They're going to have this great school system. So we bought a house in Pike Road, and she applied for that first group of teachers that were going to start the school.
Yeah.
And that's and she got the job. And so she moved from, after being at Stanhope Elmore for 7 or 8 years, moved to Pike Road, and she only taught 1 year, which was a nightmare.
Did she commute to Troy for a while?
Then, thank goodness, Troy City Schools hired her, and she commuted from Pike Road for about a year or two. And then we finally said, the heck with that commute.
You moved back home.
And that's what got me back.
Have you enjoyed being back in Troy, Alabama?
Of course, yes. And then the topper is that I'm on this show every morning and get to babble about whatever I want to babble about.
Well, we hope our babbling is fun to hear out there for all of you out there. And of course, I'm jumping all over this basketball because it is such a big thing to make it to the Final Four in your classification, and for Charles Henderson girls to have a chance and the boys to have a chance, that's unprecedented. I really believe.
No offense to Pike Liberal Arts and all their run of state championships, but I think in football, if you win a state championship, you're only beating 10 or 11 other teams.
Let me just say this:
in public school basketball, I think there's about 65 teams, 67 teams in each classification.
Yeah. I'll just say this, and no disrespect to Pike Liberal, but this is a different league. This is a different league that Charles Henderson plays in basketball, and They're very good, both this Charles Simpson team and this Carroll team, as is the Charles Simpson girls against Talladega. It's going to be well represented by Troy, and of course, as we said out there for you folks in Ozark, get loaded up, call your friends, because y'all are going to Garrett Coliseum to try to do something that Carroll High of Ozark has never done, in my opinion, and to my knowledge. They've never been taken to a team to a Final Four. So this is.
Wow, you sure about that, man? Carroll High's been around a long time.
All right,
they've been at least one Final Four.
Well, let me just tell you this: if I would say that to my knowledge, Carroll High has never been to a Final Four.
I thought Skinner was a legendary coach.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this: he was a great coach, Cecil Skinner. Cecil Skinner came from Selma, Alabama, and he played for the legendary coach at Selma, who, listen to this, still holds the record for the most consecutive wins by a basketball team. They won 88 straight games at Elba High. I mean, it was then the.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and of course that was the A.G. Parish High School.
That's still a state record, probably 88 consecutive wins.
That's right. Comer Sims. And let me tell you a little story about Comer Sims. He won 88 straight games as a basketball coach at Selma, A.G. Parish. He also played in the Rose Bowl, played on the Alabama team that went to the Rose Bowl.
Well, there are about 4 or 5 of those teams.
Years ago, it's coming. But,
Albert Elmore Sr. did too.
But you're exactly right. And I talked to Meryl yesterday about her daddy playing in the Rose Bowl. At one end, Albert Elmore, and at the other end, the greatest receiver, a lot of people say, in the history of football.
Don Hudson?
Don Hudson.
He played with Paul Bryant,
too. And so it was Elmore here and Hudson here. And then Bryant played also with Hudson. And
Bryant was known as the other ends.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not positive on the dates when Hudson played compared to when Elmore played. But getting back to my good friend Cecil Skinner, he played, like I said, he played for
he played
Comer
football
Sims.
too.
Yeah, he played for Comer Sims at A.G. Harris High School. But one thing I want everybody to know: the Selma team that had those great teams, they
won 88 in a row.
Yeah, 88. Well, won 88 in a row, but at the same time was coached by one of my good friends' uncle, Charles Ammons, who grew up here in Troy. Of course, he's the late Charles Ammons, and a good friend of mine, who he and I played football together ever since I was a little kid, all the way to high school. But he used to talk all the time about Uncle Comer, his Uncle Comer. And I said, Charles, nobody cares anything about hearing about your Uncle Comer. But, he kept saying, hey, my Uncle Comer did this, my Uncle Comer did that. And his Uncle Comer was the great Selma coach.
I guess he was great.
Comer Sims. Listen to this, from Seawright, Alabama. That's where Comer Sims was.
You have probably been to Seawright.
Sure, many times. I've thrown papers out at Seawright on my daddy's paper route.
You ought to write a book too. I mean, you're the guy that's been everywhere. That Johnny Cash song, "I've Been Everywhere," man. He's singing about Mike Amos.
But I hate to reiterate.
Interesting line out of Vegas today for the Troy game. Man, Vegas is telling you something here. UT Arlington 11-15 at Troy 18-9. Troy's only a 4.5-point favorite at home.
Boy, that is something.
That means Troy's in for a game tonight.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? But I still take Troy at home.
When an 11-win team on the road and Troy's 18-9, that tells you a lot.
Well, Troy had this terrible upset when they were honoring the 258-point team playing a team just like that and got beat.
All right, now tell us what the preliminary line will be for Friday's game.
We don't know yet.
You know?
Well, you can guess. You're pretty good at picking them. What would you say it's going to be? I guess it probably depends on this.
I would say Texas State will be a slight favorite if they beat South Alabama. If not, I think it'll be around a pick 'em.
Yeah. I got a feeling South Alabama's going to come in. Now, let me just say this.
I got a feeling South Alabama's probably the favorite tonight, though. Let me see if I can find that game.
Of course, they've got a good
All
team,
the all the games have been moved up. Yeah, South Alabama's a 3.5-point favorite at home against Texas State tonight. Texas State's 19-6. South Alabama's 18-9.
Boy, they're 19-6. Yeah. Well,
everybody's a South Alabama fan tonight. You're right.
Yeah.
Because if Troy's going to have a chance to win the conference regular season, you know what I think is they put a banner in Trojan Arena if you win the conference championship, right?
yeah, oh yeah.
That's and that banner stays there forever.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's what they're playing for. I mean, we don't think Troy's going to win the NCAA tournament. So really, all you really ought to care about is can they win either the conference regular season championship or the tournament.
Yeah. But the most important thing is the tournament because that person gets an automatic bid to the NCAA championship.
But
So that's the one we want to win.
But I've always put more weight on winning the regular season championship because you had to do that over 3 months.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, I'll tell you what.
Game tonight in Birmingham. Bucky McMillan, Buckyball, the great Mount Brook coach, is 19-9. Sanford will host Furman tonight, 19-10. So Bucky McMillan is going for 20 wins tonight.
Boy, that's something.
So he made the transition to college football, basketball with no problemo whatsoever, right? Just like we all thought he would.
And Mike,
remember that name. If Oates ever leaves Tuscaloosa, McMillan, I think, would be a big-time candidate for the Alabama job.
Now let me tell you a little secret. You know, he could not even coach in college. He coached at Mount Brook for years. But he couldn't coach in college because of one thing. He was not a college graduate. Isn't that right, Mike?
That was Joy Jones.
No, but Bucky McMillan the same way, Mike. Bucky McMillan, I think.
Bucky McMillan had issues because he was a professional gambler.
Oh, okay. Wait, he was a professional gambler.
Yeah, Bucky McMillan placed in the World Series of Poker twice. One time he won $200,000.
You know what that tells me right there? What's that tell you?
My son Michael, who's out there somewhere.
But what does that tell you, Michael? That tells me this guy is smart, super smart. You know who else is super smart is Nate Oates. Have you ever listened to him?
Yeah.
You know, he's an old math teacher, and he uses math and probabilities in everything he does.
You know, I hope I'm not premature by bringing that out. I want to say that was true, but I might, either way,
I'm pretty sure Bucky McMillan graduated from Birmingham Southern.
Maybe so, and maybe I'm wrong.
Well, one of the smartest, the most educated, most informed, and one of the smartest people I've ever seen is James Holzhauser, that just set records that'll never be broken on Jeopardy, the quiz show.
Yeah.
What's his job? He's a professional gambler.
Is he really?
Yeah.
So Bucky, he couldn't coach and gamble too. Is that right?
They eventually must have let him.
He's only 38 years old.
That's what you're right. Now.
Well, isn't that funny that he's at a big Baptist school now?
Yeah. But you're right.
Does not condone, probably doesn't condone gambling, but he puts all that behind him, though.
You're right. Now, like in football, Sanford is a very, very nice school. No question. One a top academic school, a beautiful school. It's a Baptist school. It's got everything going for him, and that was a great move for Bucky to make it into the college circle. Now, don't tell us where he'll end up.
Yeah,
he'll get all kinds of offers next year.
Well, if he keeps doing what he's doing this year, I would say in about any day now he'll get a bigger job.
Yeah. Congratulations to all those teams that have already made it to the Final Four in Birmingham.
You know, I picked Alan Ponders, a guy that could do the exact same thing. You go from high school, Pike LeBlanc, Arts, to Pike
Yeah.
Road, to a college, just
Yeah.
a lower level college, and then he'll be an SEC base. He'll probably be the coach at Auburn one day.
I'll tell you this, and I know him. He's got the mentality. You know what I'm saying? Hey, little nice guys, tiptoeing around their players, and some of them are doing that right now in college and high school basketball. That they sort of tiptoe around their players, Well, let me tell you something. You don't tiptoe around this guy right here. He heads the show, and believe you me,
He can start up.
If you play with him, you know right away who the boss is.
I'm reading this Al Browning book about Coach Bryant, and he has a pretty famous quote about Coach Bryant when he was at Texas A&M and he did the Junction Boys training camp. Some reporter in Houston got wind that people were leaving or something was going on in the Texas A&M football program with this new coach. People were sneaking out of the dorms every night and running off the practice field. So a reporter was sent down there, wherever Junction is, found him and said, "Coach, I've been told that there is some dissension on this team, that something's going on." And Coach Bryant said, he said, "My editor tells me that there's some dissension in the program and you're stirring things up." He said, "Go back and tell your editor that I don't know if there ain't any dissension yet, there's soon going to be, because I'm going to make it happen." I'm paraphrasing the quote, but he was going to stir things up and make some waves, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I guess Lucky McMillan lived out in Vegas in 2007 and 2006. He at the Bellagio Cup, the big Bellagio casino, he won $26,000 in an event, and then the World Series of Poker, he won $50,000.
Oh God!
That was just in 1 year.
But Bucky, we're so sorry we're intervening in your life.
I wonder if he lived in Vegas. Of course, one of the greatest poker players of all time from out here in Glenwood, isn't he, Dad?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Hawkins?
Yes, sir. Hort is a professional. You're right there.
Card players, they're whizzes at probability and game strategy. So it's not a big jump at all to see those skills translate to coach, where you've got to really play the probabilities and strategy.
That's right.
Hoyt Hawkins is from Glenwood, Alabama. He's 62 years old.
If you've listened to Oates, he can break down the shots you need to take, in the paint or from 3-point and the percentages. And, it's all math to him. And then if you do this over a long enough time, a season, you're going to win more games.
Mike Hawkins has pretty much retired, living in the islands, the Virgin Islands, somewhere down in there. And,
Hoyt Hawkins in tournament winnings all time in poker has won over $7 million.
Oh boy. Is that public information?
Yeah.
Yes,
it's a sport.
Wikipedia.
Have you watched TV and
Hort
seen
out of Glenwood, Alabama, does pretty well.
The crazy thing is he used to play out at the country club, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's a great guy, and friends to a bunch of folks. But how many times you heard me say, "Good old Hort Hawkins"?
He's named the Alabama Cowboy.
Is that what they call him, the Alabama Cowboy? Yeah. Won how much money now? Say that again.
Over $7 million in tournament winnings.
In tournament winnings, and that's recorded, and so.
I guess that's up to 2019 is when that was.
I think he's got a beautiful home down in the. This
is going to become a bigger deal
Island.
Because now gambling does not have the negative connotation it used to. In fact, it's legal. In most places, it's now legal. And you just watch the advertising on the networks and the internet sites. They've all jumped into it because they're getting money from it. So I see more poker players, more sports gamblers.
Well, it looks like the 7A results are in pretty much in 7A basketball, and St. James boys are going up against Booker T. Washington today or tomorrow at 10:30. So we'll find out from.
Is Montgomery Academy in this?
Well, Montgomery Academy didn't make it. Geneva in girls, the Geneva girls play Thursday, 24-4, versus St. James, 21-6. So.
What about Geneva County boys? Did they get eliminated?
I think they were eliminated. I don't see them anywhere. And Park Crossing won both the girls and the boys.
Arrington got beat?
Yeah. Arrington got beat earlier, yeah. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and the tournament gets even more interesting, like you said, next year when Pike Liberal Arts will be playing
in 2A probably, right?
Now, and also, didn't y'all say that they're eligible
in basketball,
to play for a championship?
In
next
football,
year?
they're not going to be able to, but in basketball and baseball,
yeah, that's great.
I don't know about. We need to look and see how many seniors Pike Liberal Arts baseball team has, but you would think that they're going to be competitive instantly in baseball too.
They're low.
All right, you want to take our first break?
Yeah, let's do. Brought to you by Bird Drugs on the corner of downtown Troy. Give me 3 eggs over light with a
Miss grits.
3 egg scramble. You can't get them over light.
They got the thick grits.
With grits and toast and just wonderful ham and bacon and great place to eat. We'll be back.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako Robotic Arm-Assisted Surgery System is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
Got $1? Get a new car. Got $1? Get a new truck. Just $1 gets you into a new truck or car during Dollar Days. New Ram, new Jeep, new Dodge, and Chryslers. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you were out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Right here, right now. Got $1? Yeah. Get a used car, truck, van, SUV, you name it. That's right. Just $1 gets you a pre-owned vehicle during Dollar Days. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
And Mark Barron, the Alabama safety, went to St. Paul's.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at our studios on South Grundy Street, Troy, Alabama. This is Today in L.A. That means this is Lower Alabama you're looking at. Bright and shiny this morning. Of course, we were having fun talking about what's going on in our areas, and tell us what you're going to find or what you're going to learn on this show if you'll listen to it.
Well, I guess I'm going to say this too. I've never thought about it. St. Paul's has had some fantastic athletes and great teams in all sports from Mobile. Well, one of the most famous athlete ever to probably go to St. Paul's is A.J. McCarron.
Yeah.
And I think he was just from a modest family. That's an expensive private school. So I think that there's a good A.J. McCarron was probably on scholarship at St. Paul's. And then the other most famous athlete they've had was a guy named Mark Barron that was an All-American in Alabama and played in the NFL for about 9 years. He went to St. Paul's, and I bet he was only. So these scholarships have been going on for forever at these private schools.
Mike, help me out here.
You got Evan Schultz, Roger Schultz's son, played at St. Paul's. He's on Troy's roster.
Yeah, that's right. Mike, give me some information here. Today, in the girls' basketball, Linden 20-5 versus University Charter School. Have you ever heard of University Charter School?
I've never heard.
I'm not.
They play for a championship today against Linden. Then the boys 1A in our area.
Linden, let me interrupt you. Linden, isn't that where the Alabama center Roy Rogers played?
Yep, I believe it is.
Yeah.
It was so tall and skinny, and he played in the NBA for a couple of years.
Says University Charter Schools in Livingston.
In Livingston, Alabama, University Charter School. So we'll watch that as it grows. And of course, the finals are today and tomorrow. Already we've got finals. Man, they're just dancing in the streets of Highland Home today. They 20-5. They beat Greene County 50-40, and Highland Home is going to the Final Four in Birmingham.
I saw when I went to the school board meeting last night. I saw Major Lane's daughter, who's the assistant principal at Charles Henderson. But I remember Major Lane. He became a principal, but he was a real good basketball coach. He had some great teams at Goshen, and I covered one of those teams. Went to the Final Four. You know who they lost to? The team from North Alabama, where Lance Reams was the star that played at Auburn.
Yeah, that was Clay County.
Clay County, thank you. That's where the Jacksons are from.
Yeah, that's right.
And I covered, and it was a good game and competitive, but Clay County won thanks to this Reams kid. But Goshen had a really good team that year.
Well, let me just say this. Major Lang is one of my favorite people on this earth. He is one of the most outstanding individuals I have ever known.
Yeah, fine, man.
Major Lane is number one.
Let's be kind to Major Lane's Day today.
Yeah, let's do. That is a great one. Of course, we mentioned a lot of people, but let me tell you this. He's been there. He's just an excellent leader, and he treats everybody the same. Mike, tell me your experience with Major Lang, just off the bat.
Well, I mean, basically, I'm not.
How did you get to know him? I mean, when did you just first know who Major Lang was?
I mean, when I was a kid playing baseball, he ran the rec field at Frazier Field. So I knew him when I was a little kid. It was the first time, and then years later at Goshen as principal.
Yeah.
And of course, he was the head basketball coach at Pike County High School too.
Yes, sir. And he has been such a great leader out there. If I had to put one person over all the people in this town that has meant so much to so many kids, I believe it'd be Major Lang.
I'm trying to think of the great star that Goshen team had. He went and played, not the guy that went to Florida, the big tall guy. They had another guy that played in some smaller college in North Alabama, UAH or somewhere.
Yeah.
Man, he could light it up too. He could score 30 points at the drop of a hat. That name will come to me.
Another guy, Mike, that was at Charles Henderson and coached there for, of course, he's dead now, but what a great man he was.
Yeah, Calvin Griffin.
Yeah, Calvin Griffin.
Coach Griffin. Yeah.
He was another man that
fine guy.
That everywhere he went, he was treated with great respect.
I saw another, probably the coach that followed Coach Griffin. Carl Hollis was at the meeting.
Exactly.
I asked Coach Hollis, he coached Charles Simpson for a long time.
Yeah,
I said, you go into the game, and he said he can't because he runs the alternative school.
Yeah, that's right. Still does, but
he still runs the alternative school. That's crazy.
Yeah, and he's a pastor. But I mean, that's a good teaching job.
Well, and
he ran the alternative school when I was growing up.
And I tell you what, Carl Hollis is another one of those great people, and that is respected by everybody I know, and great basketball coach, and
we're going to get him in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if he cares about it, but he needs to be in the Troy Sports Hall. He's one of the best basketball players ever play at Troy University.
No.
Alabama picked up
no question.
maybe yesterday in football, Jahill Hurley out of Florence High School in Alabama. Number 22 overall prospect in the country. Wow. That's
Troy got him?
impressive.
No, Alabama.
No, Alabama got him.
All right, tell me about him again.
I mean, he's just a five-star cornerback out of Florence High School.
Is he a quarterback?
Corner.
Oh, corner. Okay, cornerback.
Ooh, that's what Alabama needs.
Chose Alabama over Georgia, Auburn. Number 22 overall prospect in the country. Of course, he'll be in the 2023 class.
Oh, okay. He's got another year then. So he played. Yeah. But I tell you.
Well, no, that means he'll be a senior this year. Because the signing class. Well, what do they call it now? You got an early signing period, so that is confusing. But it used to be he'll graduate in 2023.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what.
Football recruiting never stops at Alabama.
Yeah.
That's why Saban is considered the greatest coach of all time. I've analyzed it. He's the greatest recruiter of all time. But I still think Coach Bryant's the better coach, because Coach Bryant he was winning all these national championships with 2-star players that'd be 2 and 3 stars, average players from these little small towns in one state, and taking on the whole world. And how do you do that unless you're an unbelievable coach?
There's no question about. I'd hate to.
How do you win at Kentucky? 75% of your games at Kentucky. I looked it up when he came to Kentucky. Kentucky had won 2 games the year before and 2 before that, and then suddenly they're 10-1.
Yeah, let's have a little reaction to what happened at Kentucky. They were at a sports banquet, and they were giving away awards and everything, and they called Coach Bryant up there and said, "Coach Paul Bryant, congratulations on a great season and a great program you have developed here."
Yeah, he won the Sugar Bowl. He beat Oklahoma that had won 40 games in a row.
And we're going to give him a beautiful gold watch that he can keep forever. A beautiful gold watch. Coach Bryant, congratulations. Now, Coach Adolph Rupp. Coach Rupp, we'd like you to come on up here. We couldn't get your trophy in the door because your trophy, Coach Rupp, is a brand new Cadillac.
That's the famous story.
They gave Adolph Rupp, the basketball coach, a brand new Cadillac, and they gave Paul Bryant a gold watch. So that was why he left Kentucky.
Per Al Browning's book, and Al Browning was real close to Coach Bryant.
Yeah.
Coach Bryant had an opportunity while he was at Kentucky to take the head coaching job at Alabama earlier. He had an opportunity to take the head coaching job in his native state of Arkansas. He turned them both down because he was allegedly told that Kentucky that Coach Rupp is getting ready to retire, and so you'll be the main guy in Kentucky, that did not happen. Apparently, there was the college in the state was not big enough for Adolph Rupp and Paul Bryant.
Yeah, that's right. And of course,
interesting news here out of Georgia. Matt Luke, the former Ole Miss coach, has stepped down as offensive line coach at Georgia. The big news on that is he was best friends with Cooper Manning.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
When they were at Ole Miss together. So could be a little indication of where Arch Manning might be going now.
Yeah, so he's not going to Georgia, though, is he?
Georgia might not be the leader anymore with Luke not being there.
Did you not notice, Luke, in the championship game, I noticed he was on the sideline, Coach Luke, former head coach at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good guy. He did the best he could with what he had.
You know what? If he ends up going back to Ole Miss, I just can't believe that he's going anywhere but Ole Miss.
He might be going somewhere like LSU or...
also, former head coach Charlie Strong is now co-defense coordinator at Miami. So Mario Cristobal.
He's put together a system. You're right.
Quite a staff down in Miami. So look out for Miami.
You're right. They're going to be able to recruit the finest players within a 25-mile radius. Ladies and gentlemen, the finest. But they say, Rice, the finest football players in America are located in the Miami Beach area with 25-mile radius of Miami.
I think that's proven out by how dominant Miami was for 20 years, and the bulk,
right.
the core of their team came from that 30-mile radius. So that proves it.
And they were coached by the great one, and you know, he didn't get enough praise for what all he did at Miami.
They got it all going, Snellenberger.
You know, Snellenberger, you're right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, he did all kinds of things to motivate the players, and also to give his team a lot of exposure.
He was an assistant coach when my dad played. Just think how lucky Dad was. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
He was coached by Paul Bryant. He was coached by Howard Snellenberger.
Yes, sir.
He was coached by Gene Stallone. Steve Stallone was on that staff.
Oh, yeah.
All at the same time.
No question about it.
Cristobal has hired Kevin Steele as the defense coordinator, with Charlie Strong as co-defense coordinator, and then Josh Gaddis, that won the Frank Broyles Award, former Alabama offense coordinator that was at Michigan, as his new offense coordinator. So they must be shelling out some money at Miami.
We're going to take another short break. We'll be right back.
Miami.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
Got $1? Get a new car. Got $1? Get a new truck. Just $1 gets you into a new truck or car during Dollar Days. New Rams, new Jeeps, new Dodges, and Chryslers. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio, just off the square in Troy.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone, so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Right here, right now. Got $1? Yeah. Get a used car, truck, van, SUV, you name it. That's right. Just $1 gets you a pre-owned vehicle during Dollar Days. All you need is $1 down. PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I got to be back to get pick the kids up at 2:45. Cool.
Back to our show. Where was this in this movie? Hey, I got to go to the drugstore.
No, I'm building the house, I think.
No, I'm building a house. That's what I'm.
You love from Unforgiven.
Unforgiven, but how about this? Hey, what was the guy's name?
You come on Rambo?
This guy, Michael, is just so great.
He's on your brainwave.
Tell me, Mike, what he said.
You're talking about when the National Guard guys were out in the woods?
Yeah, when the National Guard guys were out there.
They didn't want to go after John Rambo?
They didn't want to go after Rambo. Say, hey, listen, I got to go to the drugstore. Is that right?
Yeah. They said that they didn't sign up for this.
We didn't sign up for this. You know, I watched that the other night. That was a good movie. In fact, to me, that was his best movie.
Rambo?
Yeah,
the original Rambo?
You know, that first one. Yeah.
You know,
Brian Dennehy, that sheriff's a pretty good actor, good character actor. He was in a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, but
Sly
he died recently, Mike.
You know, he really doesn't get enough credit for being an all-around great actor and director, but Rambo was really good, and the first Rocky, really the first two, I'll put them up against any movie he ever made. That is great filmmaking. The movie Rocky, all around.
Oh yeah. And
Sylvester Stallone wrote the movie. You know, he starred in it,
Yeah.
and he wrote the script.
you know, some of his background, Michael, you could help us with it. Is really back. He was born in the Bronx. You know, he lived in a rough neighborhood growing up. Sloan, you know, and
He was not tall and not that big, and so they had to pass him off as a heavyweight boxer. They had to do some little tricks.
I tell you what, he did a lot of curls. He did a lot of curls.
He eventually probably got into the steroids bigger.
He's only 5'8".
Yeah. Hey, he's a bad dude. I don't know if I'd like to mess with him. He's a bad dude. Of course, our show is brought to you by Bill Jackson Chevrolet, Bill Jackson Ford, right here in Troy, and drop by and see him today.
That cast was excellent in Rocky. There were some great actors in there.
Oh yeah,
including Talia Shire, his wife.
yeah.
You know who her brother is?
No.
Francis Ford Coppola, the director
really?
of the Godfather
gosh.
movies.
Oh yeah.
That's
Well, you know what was the guy?
She was in the Godfather, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yep, she had a key part in the Godfather. Yep.
I love, you know, this is marked. Somebody said it marks 50 years of the Godfather since the Godfather was.
What you mean tell you about it?
No, yeah, you
I've read the backstory, done some research on it.
I like that. Yeah.
Well, first it was a runaway huge bestseller in the late 60s, early 70s. It's one of the first books I read. Can you imagine a little 9-year-old kid reading The Godfather? But I read it. Written by a guy named Mario Puzo, which, here's the backstory. We talk a lot about gambling on this show. Mario Puzo was a big gambler. He was in bad hock when he had to, not only did he have to, he was a writer, but not only did he have to finish a novel, it had to be a home run and sell like hotcakes to get him out of all this trouble he was in.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he did it. He pulled it off. And then Francis Ford Coppola, a young director, somehow got the rights, and, you know, it was a hot property. We're going to make this. And, man, the studios just said, this is going to be a disaster. They didn't agree with his casting. He was going over budget, taking too much time. And we know the rest is history. It made Al Pacino a star. He got Marlon Brando to play the Godfather, which you can't picture anybody else playing the Godfather.
He was perfect.
He cast his sister, Talia Shire, in there.
Whose sister?
The
writer
Francis
sister.
Ford Coppola.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Who also later they had the exact same experience with a huge drama of a movie called Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Which is also many consider a classic, but it literally almost killed the people filming the movie.
Oh yeah. But you know.
And then I think Mario Puzo, he co-wrote with Coppola the script, but Puzo he later was the script writer of the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeve that was so good.
Oh yeah. Well, let me ask you this. You know, back to the Godfather. Did they write that all in one and then break it down to 2 or 3 movies, or did they do it one at a time?
No, they did it 2 times. There was 2. Right. They did the Godfather. There are most of the Godfather 2. That part where they go out to Vegas and that's original. That was not in Mario Puzo's novel. What they did in Godfather 2, if you remember, is there were 2 storylines. There's Michael taking over the family and moving them out to Vegas, but then you have the early story of how the Godfather became the Godfather, the young Godfather.
Yeah.
That's all in the book, The Godfather. You know, where...
You know something that
and Robert De Niro played the young Godfather.
That was great. But you know, in the movie, Al Pacino seemed to get old overnight. You know, as a movie star. You know, you what a handsome guy he was. You know, as Michael. You know, the guy on.
You think about how he.
But then he almost became. An older man.
He changed. He became his daddy. He became ruthless. He was innocent and naive and didn't want to go into family business. And he did it reluctantly.
What was his wife's name?
Kay.
Kay.
Diane.
Kay,
Key.
I'm gonna do it for one time only. Kay, one time only. I'm gonna answer your question. For one time only.
I'll let you ask me one time.
I'll let you ask me one time. No.
Yeah.
No.
The top 20 movies of all time by Sylvester Stallone. He's made over 55 movies.
Oh boy.
I've never even heard of this. In 2012, Bullets in the Head.
Never heard of it either.
2013, Escape Plan. Number 18, I remember this, Demolition Man. Rice, you remember this movie? In 1981, Victory.
Nope, not really.
Rocky 3 is number 16. Shade. That was number 15. Cliffhanger. Well, Cliffhanger is a pretty good movie. You know, when he's out climbing the mountains.
Yeah.
John Lithgow is the bad guy.
Yep.
That's number 14. Expendables is number 13. The Lords of Flatbush, 1974, with Sylvester Stallone, Harry Winkler, and Paul Mace.
Yeah.
That's Fonzie, Harry Winkler.
Yeah. Nighthawks is number 11. Rocky 2 is number 10. Fist in 1978, number 9.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there. Rocky 2 needs to be number 2 or 3, but go ahead.
Copland, which I thought he had a really good role in, is a movie with a lot of stars: De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta. Number 8. Rocky Balboa, 2006. Death Race in 2000. Death Race 2000, 1975. I don't know if I've ever heard of that either.
Well, but see, none of these movies are better than Rocky 2.
All right, no, keep going.
Creed 2 in 2018. I heard that was good. I never watched it. First Blood, Rambo First Blood.
Now, I thought First Blood. I don't care what anybody says.
Good, yeah.
I thought it was an excellent movie.
Yeah, it was.
It was enjoyable to watch. So enjoyable to watch if you like to pull for the underdog, you know.
And then they have a cartoon movie, Ants, he did in 1998, animation. The original Rocky, 1976, is his number 2. And then they've got number 1, Creed, in 2015. I heard that was good. I never watched it.
I don't know if I watched it or not. I'll say this: they needed to end the
that rating. I give thumbs down. That's ridiculous.
You know, after he had shot up the whole town, how he showed up, just shot up the whole town. Somebody should have found some kind of line to put it in here. And they gave Marcel the beer joint, and then
here's the greatest Sylvester Stallone movies, per Bill Rice. And I'm a film critic. I've written movie reviews. Rocky 1, Rocky 2 was one of the best follow-ups ever, and then Rambo. I mean, that's your top 3 right there.
I thought he was pretty good in Tango and Cash, and I liked that arm wrestling movie he was in, Over the Top.
And First Blood, I thought was an entertaining movie. Yeah, real entertaining.
Well, it had the genre of the
well, you looking at
private,
actors.
you know, the angry guy that just wants to be left alone, and then they keep messing with him, and then finally he fights back.
Let me ask this: why in the world? And some people give it good marks at the movie, but with the Scarface, you remember Scarface?
Yes.
All right. That was the most profane movie. That was the most profane movie I've ever heard. And why in the world they even let it get out? And you know, it won awards. He won awards for that.
Well, now every movie has that, but at the time it had more bad language and shocking scenes.
Yeah.
But it has, in stature, that movie has gone up in the estimation of film fans and critics. It's actually I think a great movie.
Eastwood or Pacino, buddy, those would be close. You know what great actors they are, really. Pacino and Eastwood, but Eastwood does not you very rarely see him getting any Academy Awards and everything.
Right.
But his movie and the Pacino movies, Al Pacino's movies, were very entertaining to watch.
Let's see, Al Pacino was. He made his mark in The Godfather. what was that? He was the blind. Had that movie where he was the blind man. He had the movie where he was the short order
that.
cook.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Scarface is an iconic role.
I mean, I think it's one of his best roles as Heat. I love that movie.
Well, he made a movie where he was the bank robbery that went wrong. I can't remember the title of that, but you know who was also in that movie was the actor that played Fredo in The Godfather was in that with him.
Would you stick Eastwood, Pacino, and what's our guy's name?
From there, you got Dustin Hoffman, you got Robert De Niro.
De Niro. Would you rate him, Eastwood, and Pacino and De Niro? Would you put De Niro in that top three?
Yeah, De Niro. Most film buffs put De Niro in the top three all time.
I'm a big Jack Nicholson fan.
Jack Nicholson is huge. Yeah, he's in that era. Paul Newman's a little earlier than they were, but Robert Redford.
And Paul Newman.
Let's go over what you can do as a Troy fan today. You can go watch Charles Henderson at 9 play Talladega. You can go watch Charles Henderson boys after that play Carroll of Ozark. Then you could go to Plainsman Park today and watch Troy baseball at Auburn at 5 p.m. Have no clue who Troy's going to start today. That's always an issue on midweek games. But I would imagine Troy will pitch somebody pretty good against Auburn. And tonight at Trojan Arena, you got Troy basketball against Texas Arlington at 6.
$1 for everything. Big, huge game.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game to bring your kids out.
The baseball game against Auburn will be. I don't know if there'll be any chance to listen to that on the radio. I guess they'll have.
Yeah, I would wonder. You're right.
Doug Amos, maybe Doug Amos will do the basketball game and McKnight. I don't know how that will work.
I think you'll find that the basketball game will carry more weight than the baseball.
McKnight and Jerry Miller do ESPN Plus for basketball games, and usually Doug Amos does the radio.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll have any coverage, but you ought to be able to pick it up on Auburn radio.
Yeah. You probably can, no question about it.
As far as the pitcher, in the midweek games, once the conference season has started, you might not throw your top pitcher, but the conference season has not started, so you can go ahead and throw if you're playing a state rival like Auburn, you could go ahead and throw your best pitcher at them.
I would, that'd be the first question, and I want to bring the baseball coach on here. That would be one of the first questions I ask him. How important are those midweek games? Because to me, you've got all your exposure on the line, and you better pitch your best pitcher.
Anytime you can beat an Alabama or an Auburn, you take that chance.
That's right. I do too.
Troy baseball is being led by a catcher out of Mountain Brook High School in Mountain Brook, Alabama right now. His name's Clay Stearns. He's hitting .545.
But he's not the starting catcher, though. Is he a designated hitter or what?
It's his starting catcher. He's got.
I thought that Bogenham or something. I thought he was the
It says catcher. He said he played in 40 games last year, starting 36. He hit .278 with 32 hits, 5 doubles, 7 home runs, and 23 RBIs last year.
Now tell us again what he's done already.
Well, I mean, he's hitting .545 right now.
Oh boy!
4 games,
named
but
Clay
still.
Stearns
From Mountain Brook.
and he's a catcher.
Yeah.
Catcher, yeah.
Oh man, that surprised me. Yeah. Well, that's a good. We'll send that.
Who was that
home.
catcher, Michael, that hit all the home runs for Troy and was drafted so high? Wasn't he a catcher?
That was.
I thought for sure he'd make it to the major leagues, but he didn't.
The guy that hit a lot of home runs was a catcher named Joel Smith. But,
I remember Joel Smith.
He didn't make it to the majors. I'm trying to think of who you're talking about.
Troy had one guy that hit like just a ton of home runs.
Oh, what was his name? Big Slugger.
The Troy catcher that made it to the pros was Ray Stevens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But Mike, this is a slugger.
Port. He was a Cuban.
Yeah, Jorge. Yeah, Mike. That's who it is. Jorge.
Yeah, Soto won the catcher though.
Jorge Soto. That's who it was.
He won the catcher.
Yeah, but he won the catcher.
But let me say this: he hit 30 home runs.
That's right. Yeah. What did he play? Was he designated hitter or outfielder or something?
I want to say he was a DH.
Yeah,
Okay.
But a great player. You know, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't bought your tickets to Troy baseball, it's an entertaining place to be and a clean cut atmosphere anytime you go to a ball game. And if you don't like it from the stands, go on out in left field and grill some steaks while you're watching the game.
And then tune in tomorrow, and we'll give you our eyewitness account of Charles Henderson and Carroll High School.
And
So does Charles Henderson go 2-0 today, or do they split?
Go Trojans! That's all I got to say.
I think Charles Henderson's going to go 2-0.
And look forward to watching a good game between Carroll High of Ozark and Charles Henderson. Have a great day.